Welcome back to Days of Our Lives channel. Today we will learn about the issue rocking daytime. Another DOL powerhouse is jumping to the young and the restless. And with departures stacking up one by one, Salem is staring down a real star drain even before Chad's official transition fades from memory. Big move to Y&R. Two-time Daytime Emmy winner Tamara Brown has signed on to The Young and the Restless as a brand new character named Sienna Bacall, marking a headline-making shift that instantly intensifies talk of a talent migration away from Days of Our Lives toward CBS's Genoa City canvas. Brown begins taping imminently, with her first on-screen appearance slated for this fall. A rollout cadence that suggests the character will be introduced with deliberate momentum and multiple story hooks rather than a one-off stunt entry. Early descriptions position Sienna as an attractive woman with personal ties to several legacy and front-burner players, hinting at a design that lets her intersect with power centers across multiple families right out of the gate. What Sienna changes? Y&R's decision to weave Sienna into multiple histories and relationships points to a chess move strategy. Anchor a new arrival by leveraging built-in connections, so she can drive plot across business, romance, and rivalry arcs from day one. Expect Sienna's earliest beats to emphasize charisma and complication, teeing up her first romantic entanglement as a catalyst for plot realignment and forcing other characters to reveal loyalties, secrets, and ambitions they've kept buried during a volatile year in Genoa City. In practical terms, that likely means Sienna touches corporate maneuvering, personal vendettas, and a lingering off-screen past three lanes that traditionally fuel Y&R's longest legs and give new characters real staying power. Why Brown matters. Tamara Brown brings a rare profile, cross-soap credibility, audience goodwill, and a track record of launching or stabilizing story engines wherever she lands. From Ava Vitali's combustible reign in Salem to high-impact turns on General Hospital and All My Children, recent dual viewers saw Brown's Ava through April, a reminder that her exits are rarely ending. Sure, characters tend to echo through stories even after they're off-screen, which is exactly the kind of footprint Y&R can harness with Sienna. Add in Brown's Emmy pedigree and the genre fluency forged as Carly Corinthos and Dr. Kim Nero, and it's clear Y&R is arming itself with a lead who knows how to command a story real estate and convert curiosity into appointment viewing. Duels mounting exits. This move doesn't happen in a vacuum. Billy Flynn's stunning recast as Kane Ash bereveled after his surprise introduction as Aristotle Dumas already signaled an active talent pipeline flowing from Days to Y&R. A rare but decisive rebalancing between rival soaps. The reverberations in Salem are structural, not just sentimental. Flynn's shift sets a precedent that high-visibility DOL faces are both recruitable and ready to jump. A narrative now reinforced by Brown's fall debut plans. When departures arrive in quick succession, writers inevitably redeal the deck, but the audience perception becomes the bigger threat, an optics problem where every fresh casting item feels like another bead on a star-drained string. Before Chad and after. Before Chad has become shorthand for the last stable chapter of Salem, but the calendar keeps moving. Connor Floyd is already confirmed to assume the role of Chad DiMera, with the first airdate set far out in April 2026, underscoring how the show must build months of connective tissue to land that baton pass. That long delay means Days must sustain emotional continuity and narrative cohesion through creative patchwork, which increases the pressure on interim arcs and recentered ensembles while fans await Floyd's on-screen arrival. The optics. As Y&R accelerates rollouts like Sienna this fall, DOL asks fans to hold for a 2026 payoff to very different timelines competing for daytime mindshare. Y&R's strategy takes shape. Stacking Brown's Sienna atop the Kane reboot shows Y&R's dual-front strategy. Refresh iconic roles while launching original characters designed to spiderweb across multiple storylines. Flynn's Kane has rapidly become a gravitational center, complete with a new persona reveal and fan-discussed tonal shift, setting the stage for Sienna to plug into the same orbit or collide with it in combustible ways. Even without official confirmation of her first scene partner, the tea leaves say Sienna will be positioned where the heat ice, hither aligning with Kane's power moves or emerging as the elegant spoiler who complicates his ascent. Will Sienna tied to Kane? Given how much recent Y&R action has swirled around Kane's identity pivot and corporate ambitions, Sienna arriving with personal connections to several characters practically begs for at least a glancing tie to his Store Olympus deal, family acquaintance, or a rival's confidant. A Kane-adjacent entry would immediately grant Sienna leverage, boardroom access, romantic stakes, and an excuse to test loyalties from Chancellor Winters to Newman corridors with a smile and a dagger behind it. If the play is counterintuitive and Sienna, initially separate type, likely sets up a slow burn convergence time to sweeps, a pattern Y&R uses to maximize O. They knew each other all along reveals Salem's recalibration. Days has weathered waves before, but back-to-back headline departures mean the show must translate off-screen personnel changes into on-screen momentum, not mere triage. Expect emphasis on bench strength, with ensemble arcs distributing weight to families who can absorb turbulence. Adira, Kyriakis, and Brady storylines sharing the load while the Chad transition counts down. Smart playbooks during star drain moments lean into event weeks, surprise returns, and villain forward runs that make the canvas feel full even as the cast grid shifts behind the scenes. Fan temperature check. Recast shock is giving way to curiosity on Y&R, where audience chatter shows openness to Flynn's darker, sleeker Kane interpretation, proof that bold swings can land when the writing supports the pivot and the performance leans into specificity. That climate is tailor-made for a Brown launch, because viewers primed for reinvention will closely track a character like Sienna, who promises entanglements and hidden histories on arrival. Meanwhile, DOL loyalists parsing updates about Chad's 2026 debut window are bracing for a long runway, a reality that makes each interim casting and arc decision feel exponentially more important. What to watch next? Circle the fall window for Sienna's first scenes, since the build-up suggests a planned sequence of reveals rather than a single splash, with relationship breadcrumbs designed to ignite fan theories. Track how quickly she intersects with Kane's storyline. Early overlap would confirm a conscious move to stack star wattage, while delayed contact would imply a more sprawling, multi-family design for Sienna's reach. And in Salem, keep an eye on announcements that bridge the gap to April 2026. Any surprise returns or recentering of legacy players will signal how Duel intends to flip the star drain narrative back into a comeback story. Final thought. Tomorrow Brown's leap to Y&R as Sienna Bacall intensifies a season defined by audacious casting and aggressive chess moves, with Genoa City seizing momentum as Salem regroups under the shadow of long-range timelines and high-profile handoffs. Whether Sienna allies with Kane or destabilizes him, the fall will be shaped by Brown's intransient arrival engineered to connect, disrupt, and claim space at the center of the canvas. For fans tracking every transfer, one truth is clear. The daytime map is redrawing itself in real time, and this latest move is the kind that changes not just stories, but strategies. Days of Our Lives recap Tuesday's episode. Gabby, Philip, and Belle face passion, secrets, and old memories. Life in Salem is rarely quiet, and Tuesday's episode of Days of Our Lives proved once again that when passion, secrets, and old wounds collide, the drama rises to unforgettable heights. This time, the spotlight turned on Philip Kyriakis, caught between the seductive pull of Gabby Hernandez and the bittersweet comfort of his longtime friend Belle Black. The morning began innocently enough at the Salem Inn, but before the day was through, Philip found himself facing two very different kinds of intimation, fiery and impulsive. The other tender and healing. A night at the Salem Inn, Gabby and Philip crossed the line. When the episode opened, Philip stirred awake at the Salem Inn only to realize he wasn't alone. Beside him lay Gabby Hernandez, and the implications of their night together hung heavy in the air. What began as nothing more than lunch between acquaintances had turned into dinner, which led to drinks, and finally, into the kind of passion neither had planned but both fully embraced. Their banter had begun lighthearted, but as the wine flowed, slips of the tongue betrayed deeper longings. Gabby, never one to shy away from boldness, teased Philip by telling him he should use his mouth more, a line that set the stage for a kiss that grew increasingly heated. By the time the evening ended, the two were fully entangled in one another's arms. Mourning after awkwardness? Not quite. Instead of regret, there was a surprising sense of connection. As Gabby slipped back into her clothes, she couldn't resist stealing one more slow, seductive kiss from Philip before heading out the door. That was when the real shock came. An unexpected face at the door. As Gabby opened the door to leave, she came face to face with Belle Black. The two women locked eyes in a moment thick with tension. Gabby, unwilling to linger and risk an interrogation, quickly brushed past Belle and disappeared down the hallway, leaving an air of unanswered questions behind her. Inside, Philip braced himself. Belle clearly hadn't come to gossip about his love life, and he certainly wasn't eager to explain it to her. He didn't have the chance anyway, because Belle had much more pressing news. Someone, she revealed, had been snooping around the high-stakes Titanium merger. The corporate battlefield in Salem has always been cutthroat, but the idea of a spy lurking in the shadows pushed Philip into an immediate rage. Unfortunately, Belle could not tell him who the culprit was. That lack of answers only stoked his temper further. Belle and Philip comfort after chaos. After his outburst, Philip eventually calmed down. Belle, in turn, allowed herself to become vulnerable. The usually strong and composed lawyer began to show cracks, weighed down by the recent heartbreak of her failed marriage and the lingering grief over her father John's death. The loss, combined with the constant drama surrounding her relationship with E.J. DiMera, left Belle adrift. For her, being in Philip's presence felt like a reprieve. Philip, moved by her pain, assured her that she wasn't alone. He promised her that he would be there for her, to help her pick up the pieces and find some semblance of peace again. Their exchange was heartfelt, a reminder of the long friendship they've shared over the years. Belle collapsed into his arms, hugging him tightly, as if drawing strength from his steadiness. It was a tender moment that contrasted sharply with the fiery passion Philip had just shared with Gabby. Escaping reality, a ride into the past, Belle confessed she wanted nothing more than to retreat, to go home, hide under the covers, and block out the world for a while. But Philip, in a rare moment of lightness, suggested something else. Why not escape together? Why not play hooky from their responsibilities, like they once did as reckless teenagers? The idea sparked a flicker of joy in Belle. Soon, the two of them were off horseback riding, just as they had done in their high school days. The scene carried a wave of nostalgia, a reminder of young love and carefree adventures. It was as though, for just a short time, the burdens of adulthood melted away. For Philip, the ride with Belle was a chance to reconnect with a softer part of himself, one untouched by the constant power struggles at Titan or the fiery entanglements of Salem's romance web. For Belle, it was a healing balm, a moment to breathe freely and remember who she once was before the weight of loss and betrayal pressed down on her. Two women, two paths. What made Tuesday's episode especially powerful was the sharp contrast between Philip's encounters with Gabby and Belle. With Gabby, the connection was raw, physical, and impulsive, at what people giving into desire without worrying about tomorrow. With Belle, the bond was deep-rooted, emotional, and comforting, an echo of the past and perhaps a foundation for something more in the future. Philip now stands at a crossroads. Does he pursue the fiery spark with Gabby, knowing full well her motives in Salem are often complicated and self-serving? Or does he lean into the steady familiarity of Belle, who needs someone trustworthy in her life now more than ever? Looking ahead in Salem. As always with Days of Our Lives, nothing is ever simple. The Titan DiMera merger remains a mystery, with a spy lurking in the shadows ready to cause chaos. Gabby, freshly entangled with Philip, may have her own schemes brewing. And Belle, though comforted by Philip's support, still has her complicated ties to E.J. DiMera and the grief of losing her father to work through. Tuesday's episode reminded viewers why Salem continues to capture hearts after decades on the air. Relationships in this town are never just black or white, they are messy, layered, and often caught between passion and pain. Final thoughts. The drama unfolding between Philip, Gabby, and Belle is far from over. Gabby's seduction has stirred the waters, while Belle's vulnerable side may have awakened something deeper in Philip. For now, though, one thing is certain: Salem is a place where secrets are never safe, passion is always simmering, and yesterday's memories can return to shape tomorrow's choices. Whether Philip chooses fiery passion, emotional healing, or a dangerous mix of both, his story promises to be one of the most compelling in Salem's current chapter.